go back over the last 30 years, actually even more than that, Colin Powell he was in Vietnam, he was chief of staff, he was secretary of state, so he's been involved pretty much in many major decisions in terms of United States government over the past couple of decades. When they said, oh, Colin Powell's coming, and I would say, do you know his background? And some of the students were really not that much aware of all the things that he had participated in. So I think it's a good opportunity for them to really get to know who he is and what his role has been in a sense, U.S. history.
I think it's very exciting anytime someone who's so well known comes to Loyola's campus, and we get to roll out the green carpet and everyone gets a little dressed up and goes over to Reed's.
Whether you agree with him or not, there is someone who's demonstrated himself to be a very effective leader. I think one of the most important things about the Hanoi lecture is that it serves as a really good example of how leaders in this country tend to work.
General Powell's understanding of the global challenges and opportunities facing America have evolved throughout his distinguished career, and he is here tonight to share his tremendous wisdom. Now, it is my great honor to welcome to Loyola University, Maryland, retired United States General Colin Powell.
From healthcare and the economy to leadership and humility, the former Secretary of State and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Colin Powell, addressed a number of topics during his speech at Loyola's Reitz Arena for our second annual Hanway Lecture. The audience cheered and applauded as General Powell said, quote, "I only wish I could bottle up what I see in the rest of the country and bring it back to Washington, D.C. and pour it over the heads of our politicians and tell them, you really gotta get your act together." In light of America's current political issues, General Powell urges the audience, filled with Loyola students as well as members of the Baltimore community, saying, quote, "Don't sit around waiting for magic to happen. Don't wait for Superman or Superwoman to come in 2016. The solution to the problem is sitting here." On compromise and communication in today's politics, he says, in order to get movement, you have to have compromise. Somebody has to yield a little bit. We need to get back to a situation in this country where we are talking to each other, not just screaming at each other. General Powell later advises the audience, saying, "At the end of the day, you are no better than anybody else. The driver, the immigrant, the minimum wage worker. Never think you don't have the most sacred responsibility to work for their benefit as you're working for your own." On our responsibility as Americans, he says, "Citizenry has no greater responsibility than to educate the next generation of Americans."